All right, so we're back, and we got Seth Weil aboard with us. Seth has the Holistic Health Clinic, and of course, it's all about reversing the disease rather than managing it. So we want to bring in Seth. Seth, what's up, man? You're still looking strange. Why ain't you accustomed that I look at, you know? Seth, grow back your beard now. Seth looking like he don't leave secondary school. Yeah, Harry Wilson. Ah, boy. Now, Seth, oh gosh, boy, I ran bad with time this morning, but we ought to take the calls next week. I might be able to take calls, but what interesting topic do you have for us this morning?
No problem. As we mentioned with regards to aging, we're going to look at premature graying of hair. All right? So
right.
Premature graying of hair. So I'm just going to share my screen one time to get right into it, and we press for time. All right, so premature graying of hair has to do with the melanocytes, which are down here, which develop the pigment and stuff in the hair. You could see the little palm here moving. All right, but in this bulge here, you have something called stem cells. So the stem cells in here, they help form the melanocytes down here. Okay. Now, what the data has been showing that there's some degradation, or the stem cells, they degrade through a process called autophagy. Autophagy is when the body kind of takes cells that it don't see as useful or important, and it would break it down and then utilize it for nutrients and so forth. So the body would kind of eat itself in that sense. All right, so that can and does affect the melanocytes, and that would therefore affect the pigmentation in the hair. All right, so that's how one can prematurely gray. Let me share my screen.
Seriously? Okay, go ahead.
And show something else here now, because I want to get us to some more information here, because I want us to see what it is classified as premature aging. All right, so let me get the screen sharing here. So let's see what's classified as premature aging, and this is from the National Library of Medicine. It says relationship between trace elements and premature hair graying. Now it says here that hair is said to gray prematurely when a minimum of 5 gray hairs occurs before the age of 20 in fair skin, 25 in Asians, and 30 in Africans. It may be genetically associated with autoimmune syndromes or certain environmental factors. Of course, you know, I usually focus on environmental factors as being one of the main contributors to all the problems, because if you do the research, you would see that even autoimmune conditions are affected by environmental factors as well. Now, what they were looking at has a lot to do with calcium, iron, and copper. Calcium, iron, and copper levels in the body. So premature aging can indicate to you that there are deficiencies in your diet.
Right.
Deficiencies in your diet or deficiencies in your body, which would result due to deficiencies in the diet. But not just deficiencies in the diet alone, because many people are unaware that there are things that you consume that blocks the body from being able to absorb certain nutrients, even if you consume those nutrients in your diet. All right, and that is where the major problem has to be. Now, stress is also a factor with regards to premature graying, because stress have been shown to contribute to such. Many in the past would have, you know, seen that cortisol, when your cortisol levels are high, that can also induce graying. But then there are other studies now that shows that when they remove in animal studies, when they remove the adrenal gland, so there is no cortisol release, and they put the animal under stress, that they still also prematurely gray as well. So in other words, there are multiple factors that affect premature graying. Now, what I want to say is, to truly address premature graying, one has to take an holistic approach with regards to health, meaning you have to tackle health from every angle. So not just stress management, not just trying ways to reduce cortisol, not going along the lines of just consuming supplement to try to replace minerals that might be missing. All right, one has to take a holistic approach, manage stress, right? Understand things in the nutrition that causes deficiencies, because what most people don't understand, a deficiency of certain minerals or any form of deficiency in the body is also a stressor.
Right.
It's also a stressor. Now, something else that many people are unaware of, and it's a study that I was reading a couple days back, which was regards to new studies that found that cortisol levels or blood serum levels are higher in people that consume less salt. Stephen, I'm sure you're not surprised. I'm sure you're not surprised. Right?
I know you were going to come with either salt. It would either been salt or red meat.
and it's both.
And it's both.
It's both. Right? Now, what they have shown in the studies is that cortisol levels in the urine after waking up are higher, which means the body eliminates more cortisol in your urine for people that have a higher salt consumption.
Okay.
So when you sleep and cortisol level, now the body does increase cortisol release in the body to wake you up on mornings. All right? That would help you to wake up, or else you'll still be very sleepy and may not get up as you should. That's why you get that increase there. That cortisol level also causes a spike in blood sugar level, or an increase in blood sugar level in morning, so you can have energy to wake up. This is why you would find that blood sugar level is usually higher on mornings, right? Now, many people don't understand that, but it's not supposed to be very high. If it is very high now, it's a cause for concern. But salt helps to reduce the cortisol levels, and people with blood serum levels that it had a reduction, I think is either 40 or 50% reduction in cortisol levels with people with a higher salt consumption.
Seriously?
Right? Now, I have shown it many times, and I would come out plain and simple that the medical world have lied to people about salt. Right? Salt is one of the things that is one of the most complete lies. When I say complete lies, because everybody have in their mind salt not good. Right? That is something you grew up with, salt not good, it causes hypertension.
A lot of people.
Yet, the data says something completely opposite. The data actually shows that a lack of salt causes hypertension because it activates the system called renin-angiotensin, aldosterone, and the sympathetic nervous system. And this system causes one, insulin resistance, so a lack of salt could cause diabetes. Yes, a lack of salt could cause you to be diabetic. And it also causes hypertension and water retention, which is, I'm sure, you know some elderly people, and they suffer with hypertension, they don't eat salt, and the blood pressure is still high, and the feet always swelling.
Yeah.
Right? So why? Right? And just simple logic, out of all the water that exists today, 97.5% is salt water. Only 2.5% is fresh water. So this is one of the most abundant substances that exists on Earth, but yet we have classed it as being so dangerous and deadly, and there isn't science to back it up. Right? There isn't science to back it up, but we still trust in all of that. You go to the hospital and they put you on drips, which is the basic of all drips. The base of all drips. Salt. All IVs is salt water. It's a saline solution. Yeah. But yet we're telling people that salt not good. So it baffles me to know that we hold on to these things and we don't question them. Because again, like I've said over the past couple of weeks, that we trust the messenger so much that we don't bother to fact check the message. So everybody running to the doctor and listening to what the doctor said. Now, if it's I who say it, people are going to ask me, so where evidence for that? I've seen people comment on some of my posts on Facebook, where are your clinical studies to show that? And I'm like, they don't watch the program? How much studies I just show on this program?
No, but that's the thing, you know, said for people to ask, well, you know, to ask you, well, where the study on that? They really don't watch the program, because if it's one thing that I could back you on full 100%, is that every piece of information you have ever given on the program, you have always pulled up the source of that information.
Correct.
And you have also taken the time to explain to people what is the difference between certain types of studies.
Exactly. I showed the whole hierarchy of types of studies, showing that there is only one type of study that is conclusive.
Yeah.
But many people don't know that, and because they don't know that, they run with every study. Right? You see, studies show that. I read a study that said with regards to a man's beard is dirtier than a dog's mouth. Right? So, but that study was done, and I think it was 7 dogs and 35 men in Scandinavia.
Okay.
Right? Why did CNN run with that study? And they know it's an observational study. It is not a conclusive study.
Right.
But again, that goes on to kind of push certain narrative. They did a study that shows, and even Oprah pushed it, where they said that a child's intelligence comes from the mother. Have no data for that. There is no data for that. But people run with it because it agrees to people confirmation biases.
Yeah. So
when it comes to gray hair is an indication and can tell you that you have certain deficiencies, and those deficiencies has to be fulfilled through environmental factors by making necessary dietary changes. So those dietary changes, this is what I encourage people to do, is you book your appointment, because I cannot go through all that information. It takes me sometimes an hour and a half with clients just going through the basics.
Right.
All right. And we have 10, 15 minutes on television to go through some of this information. I cannot go through that. People book all your appointment. Come and see me learn. Learn about what it is you are designed to consume, right? Understand what the human body is designed to consume, so we could avoid all these diseases. You would not believe how much diseases humans suffer from. You would not believe the total number. Over 26,000 diseases. Over 26,000.
And it seems like new things just keep popping up. It seems like, there are new things that are just popping up now. Maybe because of, environmental issues causing
Exactly. So I mean, and our concept of environmental issues is wrong. Most people are focused on what we're breathing in and EMF and all this stuff, and we are not focusing on what we are directly putting into our mouth. The majority of minerals and stuff that we get in, 95% of it comes from what we eat, and 99.99% of the toxins we consume comes from what we eat. Not the air and all this other stuff only make up 0.01% of the toxins in our body. But yet our focus is on that, which is a big distraction. So we are here poisoning ourselves, damaging ourselves. We growing fast, right? We growing fast, losing our nice little black or whatever color here is to degrees, all because we don't understand nutrition. And many people don't want to understand nutrition because the responsibility on their health comes right back to them. It's on no one else, right? It's on no one else.
Well said.
Right? We could blame government. We could do all of that. It's on us.
It's on us. I want to thank you. I want to thank you this morning, but I'm sure that you have struck a nerve with the people that have been told all their life that gray hair is wisdom. That's why I've been told that. No. When you see people with gray hair, that means they have wisdom. That's what they tell you. That's the fairy tale they tell you then. But you gotta wonder, how does somebody who is in their 40s or 50s not have a strand of gray hair or very little gray hair, and then somebody in their 20s could be pelting out grays? It had to be something. You can't tell me somebody in the 20s
something else
have more wisdom than a 40-something or a 50-something year old who are more experienced in life and everything. It just don't make sense to me. But you've been told that, there's wisdom. That's wisdom, man. So it's a kind of way sometimes people come up with things to cope with certain issues that are affecting them, to make those issues sound better so they can feel better about themselves. Right? So you're growing fast, so you're getting wisdom. Right? That's what we want to look at it as. It makes us feel better. Right? But it doesn't mean that what we say there is actually accurate. Right? And I just want to tell people, go to any cooking show. You know what you will see? All the chefs using sea salt. The same sea salt
is of extreme importance. Salt is where you get your flavoring from.
But my point is, there is usually sea salt. That you've always said, use that. You would never see them with that table salt that we just use. They don't really use that. They just always use the high-end, let me say the high-end salts then, or the salts that retain minerals and whatever the case might be.
And I saw they started selling sodium-free salt, which I encourage people not to buy. Right?
So I mean it's there in your face, because I've seen countless cooking shows, and they're salting the steak. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. You see, long time our ancestors didn't have that issue because they had no refrigerator, so they used to have to store their food by salting it.
Right.
So they didn't have those deficiencies because of that.
Because
right?
of that.
But we today, we're not doing the same.
Yeah.
Right? And we believe the misinformation to distract us in order to keep us sick, because once your salt is low, you're 100% guaranteed to get sick. 100%.
Okay.
Right?
All right. So Seth, thanks a lot, man.
Thanks for having me.
Salt in my back pocket from now on. All right.
Hopefully next week we'll get the little calls coming in.
Now next week we'll be able to take the calls. I will organize a little better. Just a few things threw me back today. But thanks a lot for the patience. All right, and I'll see you next week.
No problem. All right then. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. So that is Seth Wyola aboard on the inside. We're gonna wrap things up for today, people. I got to head to